All right, so we've chosen these colleges for a reason, so when it's all said and done, when we do presentations, you'll get to see all these 10 colleges and get a perspective on what they're like. Since we didn't get University of Toronto covered in this hour, we're going to get one of the kids that does it in a different hour, and I'll bring their iPad and play it for you so you can see that one too. All right, moving on. Would you please look at calculations? This is the part I'd recommend you do today because it's the grunt work. Shh, listening? Okay, please shut your iPads now. Shut. Shut. This will only take 5 minutes unless I have to keep saying shut your iPad. Thank you. Okay, good. Keep it shut now. All right, so I do the calculations today. Here are some of the assumptions that you need to know. First of all, you're going to find the tuition for this place. That's one of your first jobs. Don't do it now. Wait for a minute till I'm done. Once you find the tuition, you got to know what year that's for. It's like typically you find 2011, 2012. When it's a 2-year thing like that, call it 2011. It keeps it simpler, okay, because it's the first of the 2 years. In the 2011 tuition, once you find that, you're looking for tuition, room, and board. You are not looking for expenses or fees, okay, because those sometimes you can waive them and sometimes they're kind of optional. Just tuition, room, board, that's it. No books even, because that can be really vague, like how much do books cost? Well, it depends. So we're just doing tuition, room, and board. Next thing, once you've got that tuition, you're going to increase it by 6% annually to see how much it'll actually cost when you go there. Because by the year 2015, it's not going to cost what it costs right now. The college costs have been going up about 6.5% on average. We called it 6%. If it keeps going like that, I know it seems like it should stop, but I'm telling you, for 20 years, on average, the college I went to went up about 6.5% every year ever since I left. It hasn't stopped. There's no reason I can see it stopping. Unless eventually someday they change the rules and they don't allow them to or something. I don't know. All right, next thing. Assume you're going to have to borrow half of that. Why just borrowing half? Because first of all, the college wouldn't let you take a loan for the entire amount every year because you'd be racking up so much debt they wouldn't let you do that. But even as it is, half of whatever the number will be a very large amount of money. Okay, unless you're doing one of the cheaper colleges. All right, listening, girls? So if you find your number, remember to cut it in half. Why are we cutting it in half? Because a lot of times the colleges give you grants or aid. A lot of times your parents will help out. But let's assume for a moment that mom and dad just can't write a check for the whole thing. Okay? You need to know, if assuming half of it's covered and the other half has to be loans, how much would it cost you? All right, so moving on to the next thing. This is the part where you need to figure out the little recursive equation to figure out how much you're going to pay it off in 10 years at 7%. We pick 7% because that's kind of a standard interest rate right now, not a special government rate. Granted, there are special government rates that you can get if your family has financial need. Sometimes you can get it cheaper than 7, but this is assuming you don't have that situation and you have to pay the full rate, 7%. How do you pay it off in 10 years? When you got your calculation, you will not know how much payment to do. You have to guess and check that number until you find an amount that makes it paid off in 10 years. By the way, though, that's not U sub 10. What would it be? U sub, well, think of it this way. It's monthly, right? What's 10 years in months? 120. So at U sub 120, actually at U sub 119 is what we say. Your amount, you still have a loan left at U sub 119. It just has to be such a small amount left that your last payment would cover it. See what I mean? So you want to just keep on playing guess and check until you find U sub 119 is a really small amount close to 0. Okay, moving on. Someday you're going to be working and you have to pay off these loans. And the government says that you should pay no more than 8% of your income. Some of you guys are going to come up with a number like $1,500 on a month. I can't write on the board right now, but that's okay. If you have $1,500 a month as a loan payment, that can only be 8% of the total you make. In other words, you have to make a ton of money per month to make that work. Like some of you guys are going to find out that if you were going to actually do this, you'd have to have a loan for, you know, such a big amount that your payments would be so big that you'd have to make like $150,000 a year to be able to afford that loan, which is fine, but except your starting salary is not going to be $150,000 a year coming out of a 4-year degree. It's pretty tough. Just for perspective, we are going to give you a list of starting salaries, average starting salaries for jobs, so you get an idea. Okay, so, all right, moving on. These are all the calculations you're going to have to come back to make sure that you're following the rules in your project. All right, and then here are the slides that you're going to have. You have to have the price in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. You'll have to have your total for your loan. You'll have to have the formula for paying off the loan at 7%. And you'll have to tell the monthly and annual salary needed to support the loan. So like, I have to make $10,000 a month or $120,000 per year to be able to afford this loan. All right. You need to include pictures, lots of pictures. You're making an advertisement for the college. You're not just like saying, here's how much it costs, because that's the big focus from our calculations. It's more like, why would you want to go to this school? Look at the beautiful campus. Look at, they've got an amazing sailing program, or whatever it is. All right. Video. And video can be recorded off your iPad, or if you can get video from the internet onto this, that would be awesome if somebody could figure that out, some of you techie people. If you can figure out a way to get like a YouTube video embedded into your video, that'd be awesome, but I don't know how to do that yet. Music, you can just use the themes right off the iPad. Voiceover, at least one voiceover, and that needs to be your voice. So that could be something as simple as, you know, here's why you're going to want to go to St. Olaf College, and then that could be it. But this, remember, you're not standing up here doing this presentation. We're just going to hit play on your iPad. So you might have a lot of little voiceovers in this to make this work. All right, next thing is at least 4 slides of text. That's going to probably be like your prices, like here's the tuitions, here's the loan formula, and make them big so you can read them. And at least 1 sound effect. That's just a little small thing to show you how to use the sound effects. It could be applause at some point. Maybe you have a cow mooing off in the background when you have this picture of the pastoral scene behind St. Olaf College or whatever. And lastly is life lessons learned. There needs to be 1 slide that says something about what you learned about this place, or what you learned about college, or what you learned about loans, or whatever. Okay. So today, if I were you, I'd take the next 25 minutes and I would try to find the price of this place in 2011, project it up, find your totals, find your loan. I do that part because tonight's homework is you go home and you find videos and you find, if you can make videos work, and find pictures, if nothing else, on Google Images or on the websites of the college, and save those pictures. You know how to do that? You touch and hold the picture, it'll offer you the option to save it. Okay, so that's tonight's homework. All right, get to work.